And everybody, you can find I'm here with some more replays. I got two vampire duels that I thought were pretty cool, and I was gonna save them up for more replays, but they're kind of lengthy, and I decided, you know what, let's go and show them off. We have vampires versus zombies and vampires versus koa'ki. So we're gonna start with the zombie duel, which is pretty cool. So my opponent is playing, I guess, some type of zombie deck, and he's got morphing jars like a zombie plant, I'm guessing. Take a look at his deck. I'm curious. What kind of, like... Oh! I'm a dirty boy. Playing Neuralis. Zombie Neuralis. I don't think I've ever seen that before. I've seen, like, Dark Lord Neuralis and stuff like that. I haven't even seen zombies. So, since it's Morphing Jar, sets come on its turn. I have double Sorcerer, which is pretty cool. I like that a lot. So, we're going to set Sorcerer, set the MST, set the warning, and end my turn. I do like my hand quite a bit. I like having the Shadow Vampire and the Vampire Sorcerer. Both are pretty cool cards. So you focus with the Morphing Jar, and I'm going to say no to that. I'm going to warning that because I do like my hand. I want to keep Shadow Vampire in my hand just because of the fact that it's a really good card. And let him mill is 3. And you mill Mizuki, like Zombie World and Book of Life. And this really fun time playing like vampires. And shit's going to get real because now I have my Vampire Empire, which I can now destroy his Zombie World. Now, in face, his Book of Life, which I was shocked he actually did that. Like, use the Book of Life. That's kind of one of your key cards. So go to Vampire Empire. I use Source Effect. Don't summon the Shadow Vampire's effect to summon the Duke. Then, you know, kind of basic vampire stuff. Use Duke's effect to destroy, to make him send a spell card because I know he's playing zombies. I'd rather get rid of those spells. And Empire's effect, destroy the back row, hit the Call of Haunted, which is nice. Then I go ahead and attack the contributor with the Sorcerer. I mean with the Duke. Just because the only one I can really attack with. He does get the draw, but oh well. I go into the Braum, use Braum's effect to special summon his Mizuki, so he doesn't get that effect to special summon, and I set my Mirror Force in turn. He has a pretty good thing here, but he's got the Super Poly, which is pretty hilarious here. So he goes for the Super Poly, sending both of my monsters to the grave, summon his Underworld Dragon Necro. Go ahead and attack, try to do that massive damage, but I do have the Mirror Force to deny him the lovely damage that he tried to dish out on me. So, kind of sucked to be him. I go ahead and draw the Compulse, which is a really good card top deck, because kind of to see what he might end up doing next turn. So, I Book of Life, banishing his Mizuki, so he doesn't get that shit off. Especially on my Braum, and attack for the 3,000 damage, because he does get the boost. I could have just summoned Duke, but there was no point. I don't want to go for that free damage. So he gets the Zombie Master, which would have been deadly if I let him have the Mizuki. So it goes for the Debris Dragon, especially with the Card Trooper. I compulse Trooper back to his hand because I don't want him to Black Rose. I know that's what he's getting at, is to go for a Black Rose nuke. Even though Braum would come back, I don't want him to get those mills also, since milling is the cost of activation. Summon the Vampire Sorcerer, and I go for the kill. That's the game. You can't really do anything else. Next card would have been Mizuki. My next card would have been Mizuki too, I guess. So, and let's go against the koa'ki, which was kind of like a koa'ki Mech Lord deck. It was kind of interesting. And he played one card that I had no idea koa'ki even had, because I don't really see koa'ki all that much outside of Rockstun, so it was kind of weird seeing some of the stuff they did, but I set the Sorcerer in turn, not knowing what he's playing. He summons the Boulder and attacks, so he's going to eat 300 to the face. That's how we do it. He sets the Mirror Force, and he ends his turn. So, I'm going to do some pretty nutty shit, but this was a really good duel. This was a pretty nutty duel. I literally thought I lost this duel, but the top deck didn't play down to it, so I was glad. So I used the Armageddon Knight's effect to send the Vampire Lord, because, well, I can't send Mizuki, so that kind of sucks there. And I had the Instant Fusion in my hand. Here's it is, so I end turn. I could have went for like a Lava Chain, but I wanted the Sorcerer to die, because I wanted that search. I wanted the search for the Shadow, which, in hindsight, I should not have searched Shadow. I should have searched the Duke. That was a misplay on my part, but oh well, shit happens. So he attacks me for 3,800 points of damage. That's some pretty hefty damage on the board. That's some pretty hefty damage right there, but oh well. what can you really do? So he ends his turn and he reveals the koa'ki and destroys prototype for the Urnite effect. But I have the Oracle in hand, so I'm good at that. So I got Book of Life, which is pretty cool. And I go ahead and activate the Oracle, get rid of his monsters. Activate the Vampire Empire. Use Sorcerer's Effect to banish some of the shadow, and I'm just doing basic vampire stuff here, especially with the Duke. And basically trying to get rid of his Backrow Duke's effect, make him send a monster. I didn't really know what to send in this deck. Because I don't really see koa'ki on that much, so I kind of didn't really know what I should have sent. So I just went off of what I thought was best. So I go in for the Braum and just sit there with Braum since he'll be at 3,000 attack, so that does help out quite a bit. And he's just going to pretty much sit there and try to really defend himself. And get rid of my Vampire Empire, which really, really does suck, because I really did kind of like the card since it was nice destruction, but oh well. I summon up one of my Mizukis, and I go ahead and attack with the 17 Mizuki first. Gets to add an Urnite to his hand, which is pretty good. And attack directly for 2,500 points of damage, so he's not on the 2,500, so one more attack would pretty much annihilate him, pretty much kill him, but he's going to make a nice little comeback here with this damn card right here. All phases of koa'ki monsters you control gain 500 attack. Once per turn during your main phase, you can discard one Iron Core of koa'ki to have all phases of koa'ki monsters you control gain 1,000 attack until the end phase. That shit surprised me to no ends meat. I mean, I did not expect to see that happen. That was completely shocking. Like, all of a sudden his monsters were above 3,000 attack, and I was shitting my pants. Like, what? Like, what the fuck? That's a nasty combination. I'm down at 1,500 life points in a blink of an eye. He goes for the Kakasuchi. And he enters her, it's just like, this really does suck. But I get Brahman's effect, which for some reason I wasn't playing Gaia. Like Gaia the Thunder Charger, I don't know why I wasn't. That was kind of weird to me. So, I go ahead and use Book of Life to special summon the Vampire Duke, and I banish his Mech Lord, and I use Duke's effect to send a spell card this time, which he sends that to the grave. And I use my Mizuki's effect to special summon the Vampire Lord. And I go for the Armadeus Keeper of Bound to use that effect to detach him, to pretty much make him detach. If I was playing Gaia, I would have been able to get rid of Kakasuchi. But I legit thought I was. And he's in there now. I did not realize I didn't play him. I don't know why, because, you know, level 5 there, easy to get. So, he's also playing Grand Sword, which is pretty interesting. So he goes for the koa'ki prototype and uses that to boost up to 3,300 attack, which is pretty powerful. And now my Instant Fusion is pretty much dead in my hand. But I do have a recurring Braum, which is going to keep coming back and just saying, hi, how you doing? Again, I really thought I was playing Gaia. I don't know what happened to it. So Braum's effect, special from Braum into defense mode, and I use my Sorcerer's effect that's on my that's my graveyard start to normal summon the Shadow Vampire. Use Vampire's effect to get the Vampire Duke. Use Duke's effect and make him send a spell card, trying to make him send those good spell cards to the grave. And I do go for the Armadeus since I need to get rid of that spell card that needs to go away. Because I didn't want to take any more damage. That would have been bad. So I learned my lesson. That spell card is now gone. It needed to go. So he switches to defense mode and attacks my Braum again. I don't know why he attacked Braum. Like, it's gonna come back, dude. I guess he wanted to make sure it didn't go to attack mode, which is pretty smart because I could have switched to attack mode and then just attacked with 2,500 attack power Braum. So I Foolish Burial, and I go ahead and I send the Mizuki to the graveyard. Artist effect, I go ahead and pop the Kakasuchi. Battle phase, I attack into the prototype. Main phase 2, I set the sorcerer in case something happens to my field, I can at least get a field spell going with this, so it does work out like that. So he gets the Swift Scarecrow, which is actually a pretty damn good card. And I don't switch my options to attack mode because I didn't want to risk a Mirror Force, so I want to leave Braum in defense mode for right now. But I'm finally drawing some of my traps to get the bottomless, so that does help out. Swift Scarecrow says, hi, no, you're not attacking me. Set the bottomless, set the Mizuki in turn. I'm just trying to build up my defenses in case something pops up that may end up hurting me, really hurting me. So he says that in his turn, and I'm just gonna attack him with the Armadillos because he does have Torrential, and that was my thought. I didn't want to flip him on a monster and risk hitting a Torrential. That would have been bad, but he didn't have the Mirror Force. I win with the Armadillos, which was a pretty good win. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the Vampire Duels. More Vampire Duels to come. I just really like those 2 duels, and I wanted to show them to you guys. So anyway, X-Eber replays are going to come probably later on this week, maybe this weekend. I don't really know. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time.